States of the African Union, the AU, and International Labour Organization. In 2001, International Campaign for the Elimination of Child Labour, #End Child Labour. She's a South African international, multiple award-winning child author and activist. She's 15 years old and she wrote her first book, Smelly Cats, at the age of 7. She has since dedicated a portion of her life to reach out, to inspire and educate people of various ages across the world. One of her books is available in Braille and Daisy formats. She runs the Stacey Foundation that reaches out to donate books, food, computers, and other items to children and care homes across South Africa. Through her foundation, she also honors other African children who are impacting their communities by awarding them during the annual African Children of the Year Awards held every November in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce Stacey through one of our youngest authors. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize for my voice today. I usually sound way sexier than this. So please bear with me. Nice to meet you all. As you heard, I was introduced as Stacey Through, and there were just a few minor errors in my introduction. I'm actually not 15 anymore. I turned 16 last week. So. Thank you so much. And I was the president of the African Union, and it's National Labour Organization's End Child Labour campaign for the year 2021, not 2001. I wasn't even born. My parents didn't even know what to expect. So yes, thank you so much for that sweet introduction. And today is actually kind of a special day because it's the only day I'm able to say these next following words. Because when I was 7 years old, 7 years and 7 days ago, I strolled into my mother's bedroom with my head held high like I was the king of the jungle. I was this prideful lioness and I said these very simple words to her. Mom, I finished writing my book. I was 7. She started this train of people not believing me because she was the first one to actually doubt me. She said, you wrote a book? Your computer teacher will be proud. And I'm like, Mom, I finished writing my book, come and see. And she was like, she just couldn't believe what her 7-year-old was saying to her. She said, oh no, Teacher Joe will be very, very hard on your work. And I'm like, by the way, Mom, Teacher Joe's not even my computer teacher, that's Mrs. Basol. So your fault for that, now come into my work. It was a school morning. My mom had 3 other kids to prepare for school, but I am still the bully in my household. But I have this thing where I get what I want, so I continued pestering her until I eventually convinced her to come into my room and see what her daughter has done. As she enters my room, she touches the mouse on my computer. She looks, she scrolls, she sees how long it is, and she starts plotting this ploy in her head. She's like, okay, let's do this. It's a school morning. I will look over your book during the weekend as we go out for brunch. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, but what's brunch? She's like, it's breakfast and lunch mixed together. And I'm like, yes, it's going to be the best weekend ever. And I'm like, hold up, Mom. How are you going to carry my computer and take us to brunch? And she was like, I'm going to put it on this thing called a stick. And before I could ask any more questions, because what's a stick? You know, my mom was like, okay, first person to bark gets to choose where we go for brunch. So I ran off and I got prepared for school. That was the morning that started this whole journey of years of wonderful experiences where I've met so many amazing people, attended so many events like this, and I've been able to just become such a knowledgeable person, but also have new ideas on how I want to improve the future for the African child. titled Smiley Cats, and it was launched when I was 8 years old. And in fact, before this book was even launched, I was in this book. I was my first time entering Cape Town, where I won the award for the best early childhood development publication of the year 2016 at the Southern Side. I was such a tiny, I was surrounded by a room full of adults, and I'm like, well, I guess that's my life now. Because for the next few years, that's what it was. It would be me, the little baby in the room, always getting picked at, and then just a bunch of adults. So here is my first book titled Smiley Cats. And this book is very plain. It just covers the relationship between cousins and how they fight one another, but also has a very good moral, because a lot of us, we have family problems. So in this book, they deal with their problems, and the moral of the story is to teach children that yes, you're going to fight with those who you're close to. Yes, you're going to say bad things and gossip, but at the end of the day, it's how you reconcile with that, how you reconcile with one another, and just, come back together and make up and become friendly again. So that's the first one. Then the second book, which was published when I was 9, actually, let me not jump the gun too fast. After Smiley Cats was published, I had a problem because I was getting too much attention. Just a little too much attention. And so I wanted to stop. I just wanted it to all be over. I wanted to go back to being the little kid that I was, that didn't have to do radio interviews, that didn't have to look nice to go on TV. And I was fed up, so I was talking to my mom one day, and I made this decision. She was okay with it, but then she made me a statistic which said that over 50% of children my age could not know that. And I'm like, well, these are my peers. These are the people that I was possibly born in the same hospital with. These are the kids that we're going to grow up and someday rule the world with. I can't let this happen. So I decided that I was going to continue to write, first of all, not for myself, not for my parents, but for the children who are going to look at this book and be like, wow, she can do it, I can too. Like, let me take my friends and encourage them to read this book, or hopefully create something that will go on to benefit other children. So that is what actually inspired me to continue writing. Otherwise, I would have stopped after book 1 and continued to lead a very normal and boring life. Because right now, I'm missing school, and my friends can't say that they're in Cape Town missing school. That's also one of the perks of being an author. So the second book is titled Bob and the Snake. The boy in the cover is actually my older brother, and in the story, Bob is again, a lot of this is family related because I do spend a lot of time with my family, and it's just interpreting those stories. So Bob loves snakes. He has this huge infatuation with snakes, and he reads about them. He has so many just fascinating theories about snakes, and he eventually gets a snake for his birthday, and he runs into some problems with his parents not wanting him to have the snake, and so it's about how Bob sort of defies his parents and has to try and make up with them again, and it's just a whole very cute story about his relationship with his parents. So that's the second one. The third book is a sequel of the first book. It's titled Smiley Cats on Vacation, where our two little main characters are now taking a trip to Namibia. I've never gone, I'm still waiting for the invitation to go. But yes, it's a very amazing book. It even has some cute little facts about Namibia, and that is book 3. Moving on to book 4, titled Tim's Answer. The reason I wrote this book was because I noticed as I was growing up that a lot of the times when I was speaking with my friends, with my kids, the conversations, especially about those who we look up to, is very Western orientated. So a lot of my friends, they were not able to see the value in having African role models for being Africans, and they would always look out to what was being displayed to them on social media and say, hey, I like that guy, let me follow that guy. And there's someone exactly like him roaming the streets of their communities. So just to show other African children that instead of us looking to the West for inspiration, for motivation, we should look within our own communities, within ourselves, and foundation titled the Safety and Security Campaign for Children by a Child, in which I was tasked to write a play for the campaign, and that play was later, the script was later rewritten by myself and turned into works. So the sixth book is not written by me, but it is written by other people who are sharing their experiences, their thoughts, and their hopes from me. So this was published under my foundation, and it is titled Stacey Through a Seen and Heard, and it's very cute because it basically details me, but from another perspective of me, so it's very interesting. And then one of my favorite books by myself is my novel, which is actually going to be launched on the 4th of March. And I'm just so excited because look, it's such a big book. And I think it's just so interesting. Every single time I read it, it's like, I don't even remember writing what's going on. It's a new experience of finding out something new every single time. So that's Will Released. It actually came to me in a dream, and that dream, you know, you can take inspiration from anywhere. So that dream led me down the path of writing this very interesting Christian novel, by the way. So that's Now that was just the author side of Stacey. Now we're going to branch off into the more active side, the side where I am definitely passionate about. So in 2018, alongside my third book, Spanish Cats and Vacation, my foundation was launched, the Stacey Free Foundation. Now before the foundation was even launched, I told you guys, I am kind of a bully when it comes to my parents. I would sort of demand my parents to hand things out to people. So if I saw someone that had potential, I'd be like, hey mom, which one of you give this guy a computer so that they can also write? And I would definitely give away books for free, and I still do it now sometimes, don't tell my parents. Just in the back doors, hand out books to kids because it's just something that I'm extremely passionate about. So in order to make things easier for my parents, they decided, okay, they were going to create a foundation, and so the Stacey Free Foundation was born. Under the foundation, we run a number of different projects which are geared towards the main themes are safety and security, but also literacy. Because I believe literacy is one of the most important tools that we need in this day and age, just for basic survival. And I think that especially when a child grows up illiterate, and this child turns into an adult, that leads to many, many problems in terms of communication, but also just going on about basic day-to-day life. So I think pushing the subject of literacy is extremely important, especially when children are young, so that they can grow up loving reading and loving the power that reading can give them. So I believe in literacy, but I also believe that a child cannot empower themselves in a space where they do not feel safe and secure. So that is an issue that we have in a lot of our schools, especially within the townships, where these children arrive at school and they are unable to focus because they are worried about, first of all, their tummies are empty, right? They're hungry. Secondly, they cannot go and use the bathroom because there's no water, or there's no toilet paper, or the bathrooms have no seat or no toilet in them. Or they're fighting with their teachers, they're fighting with their friends. So when you grow up in these rough environments, it's very, very hard for you to empower yourselves, for you to even want to go to school and learn. So that is something else that we tackle underneath the Stacey Free Foundation. And I believe that these are key things to, first of all, fixing our society and hopefully having a South Africa without bloodshed one day. So those things are very, very close to my heart. So a few of the projects that we run under the foundation. The first is an African Book a Child, where I encourage African authors or people who have written books on Africa to donate books to the foundation, where these books are then distributed amongst other African children. Firstly, to encourage them to read more African and to just grasp an experience of what is happening around them. The second thing we do is the Safety and Security Campaign for children by a child, just to teach children about the basics of how to keep themselves safe under different life-threatening situations. So, for instance, drowning, if there's an unexpected fire, etc. The third thing that we do is the online TV channel, CTVSA, and that is for the children cannot see face to face. So there it's more entertainment-wise, but also some knowledge about Africa, African countries, special interviews with people within my community who are doing great things as well. And the fourth thing that we do is something that's very special. It's like the highlight of my year. That is called the African Children of the Year Awards. It's an annual awards ceremony in which we encourage those people anywhere from Africa to nominate a child between the ages of 7 to 14 years old who are doing something exceptional within their community in the various different categories. And from then on, we have a number of judges who will then select our runner-up, second runner-up, and our winners for them to be presented at the award ceremony. And the reason why I love this award ceremony so much is that it's a tool as well to encourage others and empower others, to show others that we see the good work that they are doing so that they continue to do it more and more every single day, every single week. And so that is why I love that award ceremony as well. Because I know when I get awarded, I feel good. So I want to make others feel good as well. Right? So that is something else that happens under the foundation. But also, there obviously, like every organization, we do run into problems sometimes. And the main problem that we do have is annually finding funding to make sure that these events are well seen and well sold through. So if anyone would like to help with that, then you can come to me.
That's you.
Also, don't confuse my stage personality with my off stage personality, but I am extremely quiet. Like as soon as I let go of the mic, you probably won't hear me say much for the rest of the day. So yeah. What else do I have to say? Thank you, Auntie Cassie, for inviting me. And this looks like a very wonderful event. I do hope to work more with Sister City International. And you guys look like you just have so much fun. I want to have fun as well. Don't worry. We'll see you guys.
And Mom, would you please stand up? Dr. King wants to say a word, but Stacey was sponsored by our son, and her mom sponsored by our son. His name is Needles, and it was sponsored by Michaela Moving Autism. We have a granddaughter who's a child with autism, and I'll have them tell you more about that.
I was going taking a view that says our son, who sponsored you and your mom, he would be so proud of you. Hunger is real. Did you notice the pictures in that video? Those were taken about 15 years ago when we visited Richards Bay, right out of Durban. And hunger was an issue. I witnessed lunch being served, and some children did not get lunch that day. I happen to be a former school administrator. Once I saw the problem of hunger in my school, we fed our kids. School started at 7 and it ended at 7. We fed them breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. And what do you think happened to the test scores? Went up. They went up, way up. And our school became an A-rated school. 99% minority, 99% poor, 99% look like me. When children are fed, it means the world of difference. So I'm going to challenge this organization. She's the one who's active in this. I'm not active because you see me, you seldom see me. I've been in my room most of the time. But Maxine is very active. But I want to challenge Maxine and this organization Because I know all the communities that you represent here, you know, we do active them South in Ghana. It's the same issue. We have to find a way, as Gil Scott Heron said, to save the children. We gotta feed them. That's the challenge that I put on this organization. And young lady, again, thank you for that.
A few presents for you. Switches in his t-shirt and then the 1619 book. But on your table, you have this. You heard her appeal to you. Temple Foundation, she charges nothing for this. However, if you want to dig deep in your pockets and put some rands in there, or even some dollars, you have this on your table. Each of you should have one. And I have this right here. Okay, so just put it in the middle of this table. Okay, pass it around, put some rands in there if you want to. And that's how she is going to be. So this, okay. So once you finish they, okay. Now, it's time to celebrate. One more thing. Spreadsheet. Stacey, how do they get your book? Is it on Amazon or whatever?
Yes, on Amazon.
There are copies here.
Okay, hold on.
Sell it here.
No, she's not allowed to sell them here because we have a